Hello, everybody, and welcome to Triangle Agency with the High XP Society. My name is Gwen Marshall, she, her pronouns, and I will be the general manager of our event this evening. What I'd like to do first is go around the screen/table here and introduce our three players and give a shout out to our invisible fourth player, who is, instead of playing today, is stepping in to run tech. Thanks, Barb. So first, let me say a few things about what we're up to here, and then I'll pass the virtual mic. As I said, my name is Gwen Marshall, and I am the general manager, or if you prefer, GM, or if you want to go old school, game master, person running this game of Triangle Agency from Haunted Table Games. Triangle Agency is a modern, kind of urban, corporate satirical horror, akin to some of your favorite spooky, weird media from the past few years in video games, television, and film. I will be directing this team of agents to investigate anomalies, contain them, and try to get commendations while avoiding demerits, because the corporate taskmasters are always watching. And all of us here are a part of a group called the High XP Society. We are a channel and a community of gamers we've had a lot of experience. We're older gamers, and we come from a variety of marginalized identities, and we are just starting. And this is our first kind of series of games. We'll be here every Tuesday night. There's 2 different shifts or teams of agents, and this is the quantum shift. You can see next week, you will see is it next week? Yes.
Yeah.
The fractal shift is the other shift. So we kind of alternate. So as I said, I'm Gwen Marshall. You can find me online at Dr. Gwen Marshall on some places. Let me go ahead and pass the mic to Blue.
Oh, great. I'm starting. I'm Blue. I am a TTRPG designer. I've been playing for about 20 years, and I'm not really sure what else to say about myself. I'm weird, she, they, we pronouns, and all sorts of spoonerific stuff going on with me. I am playing Moira LaSalle, who is a barista with the company, and she has a side gig at another coffee shop in town.
So the way it works in Triangle Agency is you have what's called an arc, an anomaly, a competency, or a reality, and a competency. So your anomaly is the ways in which you can manipulate reality. Your reality is your day, your life outside the Triangle Agency, or maybe before. And then your competency is the department and your particular role in the company. So, Blue, would you like to share Moira's full arc? Now, you said they are a barista. That's their competency, and their
that
reality
is her competency. Her reality is known as creature. I am the 3rd star from the right. I've been overshadowed by my sisters, including the 2nd star to the right, who always seems to get a lot of the attention. And I was just kind of tired of it because I want to hang out with people and see so many people who need help. So I am a star with the anomaly of dreams. That comes with all sorts of fun implications. I can not only reach into people and glean their worst nightmare or their greatest wish, but I can also manipulate and move through works of art, paintings, movies, pictures, and I can change the ending of that book if it's just needing a little tweak.
So you are a star that's come down to Earth and taken human form in a desire to, I don't know, I won't say as attention seeking. That sounds negative. Are you manipulating this fiction we're in right now? Is that what you're telling me, Blue? All right, let's go ahead and pass it to, let's hear from Eleanor.
Oh, Hi, I'm Eleanor. They, she pronouns. I am just a hobby gamer, I guess. And I am playing Sai, who has um, the growth anomaly. They are an intern with the Triangle Agency, and uh, their the growth anomaly can manifest in a variety of um, eldritch horror kind of ways. So we'll see what that brings.
Fantastic. And you are a struggling intern as well. Perfect match for an eldritch horror. Um, okay, I guess that leaves us with Lulu. Would you like to tell us about your character and
Hmm.
yourself, of course, if you wish to share?
Oh, sure. I'm Lulu. I stream every once in a great while. I take a lot of photos of dice and also of plants in my yard. But if you like dice photos, I'm constantly posting my dice. I will be playing Matilda Gray, or Tilda to her friends. Her anomaly is absence, um, and that kind of manifests in her just fading into the woodwork a little bit. Um, she is a caretaker, um, to a whole bunch of cats. And when she is at the agency, she works in reception. So she will be greeting you as you come in and making sure you have everything you need, guarding the gates to keep anyone who's not supposed to be in out. Um, and with her absence anomaly, she can literally sometimes disappear into the walls or through the walls. She
Mm,
can see things that used to be there and aren't anymore and see their history. And she can occasionally move herself if somebody is trying to attack her. She can just not be there any longer.
okay, excellent. So those are our three agents for today. Maura Flynn won't be joining us. She is going to be with the Fractal ship next time you see her. All right, so let's go ahead and get a quick snapshot of what each of you, right? Yeah, each of you are up to when the Triangle Agency reaches out. So, Eleanor, tell us what Sai is up to in reality. They're struggling. What does their place look like? What do they might be doing on a Wednesday morning?
They pretty much live in a very, uh, you know, essentially kind of a place that isn't really up to code or really shouldn't be really shouldn't be like a rental apartment. It's too
Hmm.
small. Um, but they're having to pay through the nose for it anyway. Um, so probably just rolling out of bed and drinking the sort of dregs of the coffee in the thermos that they got from their from work the day before and saved for overnight. And starting the day, I suppose.
Okay. All right. So as you're getting up, you're drinking your cold coffee. You notice something on the ground that you don't recognize, and as you bend down to see what it is, you realize it's a playing card. You don't remember having playing cards out, but here's one, and it's a face card. This one looks like a jack, with the little J, and it's got the person that's posing like that. But as you can see, it actually has what looks like a kind of a photographic representation of a human face frozen in a silent scream. So that's just a thing you notice. What is Matilda up to this morning as caretaker? I'm sure you've got many cats to feed.
Is once she makes her morning cup of lavender Earl Grey tea, she goes downstairs. She lives above the cat cafe. So she leaves her small apartment that looks very utilitarian, except for the piles of books everywhere. There are linguistics books and other philosophical tomes just covering all of the walls. But she goes downstairs and she immediately just starts talking to all the cats and making sure that they all have food. She stops and pets Gandalf and Caleb and Jareth and Hal and make sure everybody is good. And just goes through her morning routine of making sure the cats are all happy and getting everything ready for when the store opens and they actually have the people who work in the cat cafe.
And a very important question: do you have music or the television going in the morning when you're doing this procedure?
Yeah, I believe she would. She'd be listening to some classical music, just something to, in the background, not to distract her or anything, but because she does keep a fairly long monologue going with all the cats, talking to them, almost like they were people.
Sure. So as you're talking to the cats, it suddenly occurs to you that the music has stopped, and it's been stopped for a little while. It took a minute to register, and you walk over to your player, and it's on. The volume is up. Turn the volume up more. Still nothing. You check your phone and see, like, oh, is the stream down or the channel down? No, it's working on your phone. Just cuts out suddenly. And then it cuts out on your phone, but then it starts going on your stereo. And it's kind of cutting in and out intermittently. Every so often, just everything goes silent. And that's annoying. And you look down and you see your cats are meowing. You see your cats are meowing at you, but you're not hearing them meow for a moment. You look again, and then they meow normally. And the music comes back on, and your morning resumes. What is Moira or Mo up to this morning?
Moira is probably bouncing around upstairs, taking care of the little boys and the little girl that she was a nanny for a while when she first got here. And now she lives with the Majors family as kind of an older daughter at this point. But I'm helping Ursula, their mother, get them ready to go to school. And, I'm playing with them and just trying to get them energized for the day.
Gotcha. So how old, roughly, ballpark, are the kids?
The two twin boys are 4, Cass and Lux. And then Juno is 8.
Okay. So you're managing the twins, and you turn and walk over to check on Juno, and Juno says, "Hey, what's this?" And she points at the ground underneath the desk that's in the room, and there's just this huge knot of cords, as if somebody took half the electronics in the house and plugged them all in here and tied all the cords in a big messy knot. And so that's a frustration. She says, "That's what's there yesterday. Did the twins do that?"
It looks like their handiwork.
So you kind of shepherd them forward, and you're getting them ready to go to school. And as you go out the door and you walk down to the sidewalk, and you nearly trip because there's a big cable across the ground in front of you that's just popping up out of the sewer, going down the block, and then going down an open manhole. And it's just like this big, it looks like a whole bunch of cables bundled together.
Oh.
You don't know what this is or where it's come from, but it looks like it's snaking, like maybe somebody's at one end of it pulling it. And that's kind of, you're like, okay, somebody's doing some electrical work in the area, I guess. And as you take the kids to school, you see that as you pull into the drop-off zone, you can see that the light is flicking on and off, and there's a bunch of kind of wires hanging down from it. The street light that would be on only at night. So that's just another, I guess they need to do some work around here. Something's going on with all these electrical cords. Each of you separately receive dings on your phones it is from your liaison at the Triangle Agency. And you are told the following. It says, the agency has determined that each of you has encountered a minor anomaly that are related to an ongoing case. Please report to meeting room 3 on floor beta for a briefing at whatever, 0900. So that gives you enough time to get there, barely. And
I'm going to call Ursula and tell her that she might want to pick up the boys because I might be a little late.
Oh, that's fine, dear. Thank you so much. You're always such a help. So you each get in your various vehicles or modes of transport, and you go to where you believe the Triangle Agency entrance is. Strangely, you each arrive at 3 different places. One of you stands outside a dry cleaner, but it's a specialty dry cleaner. Only does taxidermy. It's a taxidermy dry cleaner. Doesn't seem a lot of business, strangely, right? The second one is floor cleaner, but they only do antique marble. Right? It's an antique marble cleaner agency. And then the final one is, I don't know. Can you tell I'm making these up? Let's say the final one is a specialty snail importer. So each of these are, and right? The point here is that these are supposed to be businesses that just look weird enough that no one would ever go in there, but not so bizarre that no one would believe it exists. Now, the problem is, of course, that the people who operate the Triangle Agency often have a broader view of what's possible than your average person. So some people might think these are hard to believe, but you know what it means. And each of you walk into the front door of each of these different businesses. All of them having that kind of distinctive yellowing to the glass, and there's dust in the air. And in the front room, there's a counter with an antique push-button register and a single bakelite, those old school plastic phones, the coiled right, the dial, but all it has is just one button on it. So you know to pick it up, and you push the button, and somebody says, identity, and you say who you are, and then there's a buzzing sound as you get buzzed in, and the door behind the counter that says staff clicks, and you know to hang up the phone, walk around the counter, and go through the door. And as you step through the door, your ears pop as though you're moving from one barometric pressure zone to another, because the Triangle Agency's offices are in an interdimensional space connecting to all possible realities, or so they say. Only ever seems to lead you to very mundane and unlikely businesses. Nevertheless, you step through and find yourself in an austere hallway. Various shades of gray, white, beige, electric light that always seems to be just a little, the sound of the what do you call that? I just blanked on the word. And not incandescent, it's the other one.
Fluorescent.
Fluorescent lights, thank you. But in your ear. And as you walk down the tile floor into a lobby area, there's a sofa on the left and there's a sofa on the right. They look like they've never been sat in. And behind them on each wall are 2 large kind of portraits of corporate art. As you look to the left, you see there is a lighthouse, and the water splashes up against it in these kind of like oil paint like you might see in a hotel lobby. But you look a little more closely, and it looks actually like there is a tentacle coiling around the lighthouse inside the water. You look to the right, and there's a picture of a family standing in front of a farmhouse. But as you look more carefully, you can see that there's some tiny images inside the eyes of the family members. And, well, you'd have to get closer to see what exactly that is. And if you do, you get a little bit closer and it looks like, yep, that is a picture of your first grade classroom. But for Blue, for you, all you see is the night sky in those eyes. Okay. That's all most is. And you recognize that as, oh, that's the star cluster I grew up in. Yeah.
The Pleiades are really nice this time of year.
Lovely, and that's it's, you immediately recognize some of your old friends. So you walk down the hallway and enter what seems suddenly to be a bustling office space. There's people going left and right, pushing mail carts. And then there's people with more mail carts. There's actually a lot of people with mail carts here, kind of zipping back and forth in front of you. You're not entirely sure why. They seem to be going in and out of hallways and doors all around you, and it's a little disconcerting. And then somebody standing there walks over from a side area, and they are like nobody you've ever seen. They are a three-dimensional person like you, but they are made out of large pixelated blocks. So they look like a 3D, like a Minecraft person, if you want to imagine that, like a blocky, pixelated person. And they have a pot of coffee and some paper cups, and they say, "Have at you," in this like weird 8-bit voice. For the king. And they offer coffee. So if you'd like coffee, this person that you've not met, but you see they have a little name tag stuck on their pixelated chest, and it's not a pixelated name tag, it's a regular name tag. And it says, "Hi, my name is," and then in parentheses, the word null is written in. So this must be null, and they're offering you coffee. And it does seem that all they can say is those 2 lines of code. I wouldn't call it code. Why would I do that? For those of you who watched the previous episode, you know why. The other team encountered this individual, and now they're serving you coffee. So whether or not you take coffee, I know Sai will, because your thermos is always empty. So, Null is like, "Have at you," as the coffee into your thermos.
For the king.
Null gives a pixelated thumbs up, which is actually just like one big block on the top of his big block fist. And you're not actually sure how he's holding the real coffee pot, because it just kind of like merges into his hand when he reaches for it. But he walks away with his coffee pot. And the mail carts seem to have subsided. You're in an office space, and you get the vibe that you're supposed to walk forward. This sometimes happens. Sometimes you know where you're going, sometimes you don't. Usually the space knows where to take you. So you walk forward some more, and you enter a long hallway. It turns right. Then it turns left. And it goes straight for a while. There are some doors, none labeled. Left, right, left, right, left, right. More doors. You've probably seen 20 doors now. You turn another corner, and then another one, and then a third right. You've now made 4 rights in a row in the span of maybe 100 steps. So you're kind of wondering if you're off your own path yet. And then you see a door that just says meeting room 2, or whatever I'd said before. Floor beta.
Meeting room 3, floor B.
Thank you. There you go. That's what I said. I think you must be remembering correctly. I'm sure I got it right. And the door is ajar, and you can head in. So who do you think of the 3 of you would arrive first? The creature, the caretaker, or the struggling intern? I'll let you 3 decide.
I mean, Matilda walks fairly slowly, but she walks with determination. And so I think she would probably get there first. Kind of come into the room, pull a chair out like she's going to sit down, catch herself, push it back in, and just stand behind the desk, because at reception, you never sit down.
Okay. So who comes in next, do you think?
I'm probably last.
I think as I'm coming in, I stop at the little coffee shop that is here, and I see Null. And I'm just like, oh, you must be new.
For the
And
king.
For the king. Yeah. All right.
Have
And I
that.
read his, little badge.
Offers you
and
coffee.
I was like, oh, that's nice. And I take it really quick and I add a few sprinkles and a little bit of whipped cream.
For the
And
king.
For the king.
Have that you.
Have it you. And I go bouncing off into the meeting room. And I probably just like pull out a chair, plop in it, and I'm just sitting there kind of humming to myself.
So,
Lulu,
as you enter,
your cats came with you.
Yeah. So Mo, as you enter, you see that Tilda is already present. Tilda, what do you look like? You want to tell Mo what Mo sees when she arrives?
Sure. Tilda is a 60-something woman with gray hair that's kind of got some curls to it, but it's held up back in a messy bun. She's wearing a relatively long skirt and a cardigan that's today is like an kind of a vibrant orange color. It's a little bit pilled, and there's cat hair covering it. And she also has a large satchel or bag on her that goes over to her side. And if you listen very carefully, you can hear a cat purring on the inside of the bag. It's actually one of those cat carriers disguised to look more like just a messenger bag.
Yes. It is there's definitely not a cat in this bag kind of
Nope. I mean, she's read all of the books, the handbooks, and there's nothing that she has found that says you can't have the cat at the office.
That's right. Actually, the only regulation that specifically includes forbids bringing pets in is it says that no extra dimensional pets are allowed. It doesn't talk about plain old cats.
And so far as she knows, none of her cats are extra dimensional.
Oh, well, we'll see about that. Blue, what does Tilda see when Mo walks in?
Mo is in that like nebulous, she could be 19, she could be as old as 25.
Oh, I know that problem, yeah.
Yeah. She is shorter, she's about 5'5" and curvy, but she's got a plump, sweet, dewy face. And she always wears her hair up in little buns, but a lot of the time they're just really loose and kind of messy. And her hair is usually some vibrant color. I think today it is orange that kind of goes down into a sunset type thing going on. The roots are showing. She's got to redo it. And she wears one of her favorite shirts, which is a vintage t-shirt that's like really soft, and it's got a distressed star on the front of it.
All right. So then Sai finally arrives just in the nick of time. What do Mo and Tilda see Sai when Sai enters?
They are usually just wearing, some sort of like t-shirt and jeans or cargo pants or something like that. And pretty much always have like a beanie, like a woolly hat on. And they're kind of 30s, but sort of, big kind of slacker 20s energy. And kind of have like a backpack. Usually.
Cool. And of course, a thermos of coffee.
There's usually an extra thermos in the bag as well.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you haven't had the opportunity to fill that one up just yet. Only all you've seen so far is Null offering you coffee. Okay, so you arrive, and just as you're seated, the door opens, and a man walks in. And this is kind of a white man, indistinctly middle-aged, with very traditionally attractive facial features. He's got like a flat top, gray buzzed hair. Everything looks kind of well manicured. He kind of looks like he stepped out of some combination of Mad Men or Leave It to Beaver, right? He's got that sort of 50s vibe. And he walks in and he goes, "Good morning, agents." and walks over to the front of the table, sits down, and pulls out a manila folder that's got like a rubber banded or like a little elastic tie, and he does it. He opens it up and he looks at each of you and smiles and pulls out one paper at a time and sets them out in front of him. And he says, okay, looks like we have everyone we need. Unfortunately, one of your fellow agents wasn't able to join us today. Apparently there was some sort of spatiotemporal anomaly they fell into. I'm sure they'll be back next time, no problem. So we've got, let's see, Ms. LaSalle, Ms. Gray, and, well, Cy. So let me tell you about why I have been assigned here. So the agency has learned that 2 weeks ago, a death was reported in a neighborhood nearby, Caddy Corner. You've probably heard of it. It's rather prestigious gated community. Well, Tony Jackson, one of the owners of a local establishment nearby, was found dead with his face frozen in an expression of pain, fear, as if he were screaming. But what's strange about it is that the cause of death appears to be sudden cardiac arrest. His heart just stopped. And this is relevant because a week later, which would now be last week from today, another death was reported. A young man named Manny Navarro. And he was found in the same state. Face frozen in a scream, heart just stopped. And he was found at a local business very near to the Two Jacks bar, which is where Tony Jackson was found. Manny Navarro was found in the laundricade. Now, this is a problematic coincidence that flagged us. But what really disturbed us is we looked into this and discovered that, unbeknownst to the locals at least, a third person was found dead a month ago. And they were a little bit further away in the woods, but they were found with the same expression. But they were found next to a bag of metalworking tools. They had apparently been a sculptor, and they were found during a survey for land development. The police have not yet begun to investigate their identity, the woman that was found dead, and it will be kind of difficult to determine because she was out there for a good month. But that means that every few weeks, one of these people in the vicinity of Caddy Corner died in this very unusual way. Now, when you add the fact that there's been an uptick in minor anomalies detected in the area, some of you may have had experiences with those today, we believe that there is a major anomaly in Caddy Corner, and it's killing people in that neighborhood. So you are tasked to be the solution to this problem. Your job is to identify the anomaly, contain it, or barring that, destroy it. There are some optional objectives in today's meeting, or in today's mission. If you're able to collect minor anomalies, for example, there were strange cards, playing cards reported with people's screaming faces on them. Everyone, you'll get an extra commendation for gathering up those minor loose ends. We can't let loose ends go, you know. Finally, there is some way in which we believe the anomaly has been trying to communicate. And if you can identify it and succeed in communicating with it through this means that we believe is electronic, you'll get 10 commendations. We would dearly like, or at least our R&D department would dearly like to understand how it is this particular anomaly is attempting to communicate. But this is a very exclusive neighborhood, so there will be a demerit assigned for each complaint the agency intercepts about your presence and behavior. So, yeah. All that having been said, agents, do you have any questions? Good, because I'm not going to answer any. Please, this way. And he stands.
I've got a card. Hold it up.
And so you do. Let it be known here that Cy shall receive 1 commendation. Let's hope that doesn't get canceled out by some demerits.
There were also some weird cables on my street, It was kind of like snaking along the gutter. I guess they were trying to do some electrical work because it also happened at the school where I dropped off my kids. Well, not my kids, but you know.
Well, I hope they were somebody's kids, because that would be something we'd need to investigate if they weren't.
They're the family I live with. They're kids.
Okay. So thank you for reporting this very interesting information about electrical work. Was there any construction in the area you feel the agency needs to know about? Perhaps someone was painting their house. No?
Nope.
That's fascinating. Okay, this way. And he directs you. He speaks to you with the crisp politeness of a well-seasoned human resource manager, you might say. Dripping with contempt, but just far enough under the surface that you couldn't protest. So he then leads you over here and says, Matilda, I believe you'll be driving today. And he pulls out a key and he hands it over to you. And
yes, thank you just very much.
I say it's a car key, and it's on a key ring, and there's a very large, like size of a tennis ball, stuffed artificial rabbit's foot attached to it.
Right.
And he says, that's so you don't lose it.
And she's like, well, thank you very much. And I'm sorry. I know we've been introduced before, but I just cannot remember your name, sir.
That's right. Yeah, I'm Mr. Morris. William Morris.
Well, it is nice to meet you, Mr. Morris. Don't worry, we have this well under control.
I'm sure you do, Stephanie. All right, this way. And so he walks over to the wall. There wasn't a door there the last time you looked, but there's one there now. And he opens it up, and there's a garage right there inside, like a parking garage inside the room, which, given that there's a window right next to the door showing a pastoral scene of a garden, you're not quite sure how that works. But you're looking into a garage, and it's a very large space. You probably could see at least 2 or 3 levels from the door. You can see that there's a ramp going up, there's a ramp going down, there's this level. Probably has room for several hundred vehicles. There's no cars in the whole place. There's one car halfway up one of the ramps. Looks like a 70s Cutlass.
Yep.
And he says, there you go. Now remember, you need to take special care of any items given to you as requisitions by the agency, including the vehicle that has been especially designed to be nondescript. No one will notice. And that's how we like it. No loose ends, please. And he gestures towards the door, kind of ushers you out, and you hear a slamming sound behind you. You turn around, and you're standing in the middle of an empty space. There's no wall. There's no door. You're just in a parking garage.
And Matilda will look at the rabbit's foot and there don't seem to be buttons to push to open the door, and so she'll just go and try the driver's side. And
so you go, and it's locked, but there's a key. There's a door key and an ignition key on the ring. It's old-fashioned in that way. No push buttons, no fobs here. You open it up, and you're not sure what this is. Maybe one of you would know, given what kind of life your characters have led. But there's a strange panel in the middle of it, like where you might rest your elbow. It's got 4 switches on it. Little toggles, and so they're not labeled. Everybody gets in the car, and there's an 8-track radio with an 8-track in it. You can't see what it is. You'd have to turn the stereo on, and then you get a ping on your phone with an address, and the note says, "In case you don't know how to use your Maps app." You get excellent service in here, though.
Oh, that's good. Matilda will turn the car on, look to her companion's music. I don't know what we have, and she'll push the 8-track in and see what turns on. It
takes a second to, kind of churns, and then you hear the sweet vocal stylings of the Starland Vocal Band singing Afternoon Delight. And it's actually really loud and bassy. It's like vibrates the whole car before you turn it down a little bit, because apparently this 70s Cutlass has like a really high-end stereo installed in it.
Perfect.
And according to the map, the app, or the directions, it's only a 20-minute drive or so, not far, just across town. And in fact, most of you, if you've lived in this town for a while, have heard of it. So that neighborhood. Headed there?
Yeah. Anyone need any coffee? Anything on the way?
I'm good.
I'll
I always come
deliver
prepared
it.
with coffee.
Okay. So, all right. So you head on out, and yes, there are again these unlabeled switches on the what do you call that? Like the place you put
Console?
in between the console? Yeah, in between the driver and the passenger. That place. So the directions take you to the Two Jacks, which is the bar where the first person was found dead in Caddy Corners. So as you approach the neighborhood, it becomes more gentrified. Things are more expensive, and you arrive at a large gated community. There is, kind of a security guard comes out and says, "What do you? Welcome to Caddy Corners. Are you?" "Oh, yeah, I was told to keep an eye out for you. You're some sort of agents doing the investigation stuff." "Okay, yeah, Caddy Corners, the management said they'd arranged to have somebody look into all the, that poor man who died. Yeah, over there." And he actually points down the street, and you can see there's like a little bar or a club or some sort. And it's got it's like a squat brick building, and there's a simple sign with a hand-painted banner taped on the across the top of it that has like two cards, and they're both jacks, and it's the Two Jacks Tavern. And there's, the little tagline under it is "the friendliest bar in the city." There's a chalkboard sign sitting out front, etc. And this is, mind you, it's actually not in the gated community. It's just next to the gated community. So it's like its back door would aim at the gated community. And that is your destination. So you actually head over there, and, out front, the chalkboard sign's got listings of events like Open Night Mike Monday and Friday Night Grooves with DJ Teddy G. And the other side of the chalkboard reads, "In memory of Tony Jackson, the original Jack of Hearts." So, what would you like to do?
Quick question: was that the card that was on the floor? Was it the Jack of Hearts?
It was, actually. I mean, 1 in 4 chance, but yes. The bar seems to be open, but there doesn't seem to be hardly anybody in because it's like 10 in the morning. But I won't judge you if you go in.
Yeah, Tilda will, get out of the car and go into the bar and just go right up to the bartender and just start interrogating them, trying to find out if they know anything, who Tony Jackson was, any information that the bartender has.
All right. So you walk inside, and the door to the Two Jacks is kind of old wooden, and you swing open it, and you're immediately surprised about how loud it is in here. There's a whole bunch of TVs on, right? And one of the TVs is just kind of blaring an advertisement. It says, "Sweaty, stinky, covered in beer? Do your laundry. It's a laundricade, and get $5 worth of arcade tokens each month." And there's music playing, and there's nobody here except there's a man, maybe in his 20s, standing at the bar, and he's cleaning glasses and organizing things. He looks up and he says, "Oh, welcome to the Two Jacks." And then he squints at you and he goes, "Can I help you?" something to drink, maybe? And then you start interrogating him, and he's like, "Oh, okay. What is it that you need to know?"
Oh, we're here investigating the death of Tony Jackson. I saw on the sign outside that he was the original Jack of Hearts. What is that about?
Well, you know, so the two Jacks, there's Jack and Jackie. They were a couple, and you know, Jack died. He had like a heart attack or something 2 weeks ago. And in fact, today is our kind of grand reopening. I finally got to get back in here and start cleaning the place up because, you know, I mean, it's been 2 weeks. Dust, a lot of dust can collect in 2 weeks. I mean, and he's like washing things kind of constantly while you're talking. And then he kind of reaches over as he's talking to you and he takes a sip. He has like a teacup with a, you know, with like a steeping ball in a chain hanging over the side. He pulls it out and sets it aside.
Oh, what type of tea is that?
He goes, "Oh, this is a Lapsang Souchong. I really like the smoky, peaty flavor."
Oh, very nice. I'm partial to that myself. So was Jack an owner of the bar then?
He sure was. Well, I mean, that was his nickname. His real name was, you know, Tony Jackson.
Right.
That's why we called him Jack, because his wife's name was Jackie. He was Tony Jackson, so it was just like Jack and Jackie. Anyway, yeah, he
Jackie
was the
Jackson.
owner.
Whoa.
Well, I mean, I know what you're saying, but that was their choice. I mean, they're old-fashioned, I guess. I know I would never ask somebody to take my last name, but I mean, it's a really boring one.
What is your name?
Oh, my name is Sharif Morris, actually. Nice to meet you. Who are you exactly, by the way? Just
I'm Mo, if Moira, but if you want to call me Mo, you can. We're just trying to figure out what happened and see if we can figure out why Tito died.
Tito. Oh, you mean Tony? Yes.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
Yeah, I get it. It's Tony, Jackie, Jackson, Jack. It's confusing. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You know, maybe he wasn't a drinker, even though he worked at a bar. He always had root beer, right? He would work the overnight shifts. And he just dropped dead the other day. You know, it was one of those, I think it was the Groove Night. And, you know, he'd been trying to make this place really shine. He just installed this new sound system. Look at it. And you look up and you can see there's all these like fancy speakers, and you can feel like the commercials playing on the TV are like rumbling with bass, right? And he says, I mean, I don't know what could have done it. Do you think a spider bite could do that? I saw like a weird, like spidery thing in the bathroom. It was big and hairy and gross. And I tried to hit it with a magazine, and I couldn't get it. It was way too fast. But other than that, I don't know. I mean, what else has been going on? I still haven't gotten the stereo to work. The TV I can get, but there's like a short out in the stereo in the DJ booth ever since that night. Actually, maybe he got electrocuted. Can that do a thing? I haven't really found the time to go back over there, though.
Do you remember what was playing the night that he got killed?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. It was DJ Teddy G and with Friday Night Groove. So probably kick-ass array of funk hits from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and 2010s and 2020s. We need to work on our slogan, I know. But.
Was anyone else here when he dropped, or was this after the bar closed?
I'm pretty sure it was pretty much after the bar closed, you know, because after the event was winding down, I wasn't here, but I know he was shepherding people out because he wanted to I don't know. He likes to fiddle with the sound system ever since that thing got put in, or he liked. Ugh, how awful. Ever since that thing got put in about a month ago, he spent like almost every night thinking he could just like dial in the bass or the. I don't know. I don't know anything about stereos, but yeah.
I guess I'll walk over to the stereo.
So as you walk over, you see there is a, let's see, where is the information here? There's a dance floor and there's a small DJ booth in the back, and you can see there's all kinds of stereo equipment. But as you walk closely, you start feeling something, like your skin starts crawling. Like you're like, this is an unpleasant feeling that you suddenly are having just by getting close to the stereo booth. And as you push through it and you arrive at the booth, it looks like there's all kinds of stereo equipment here, but it looks like none of it is working right now. There seems to be giant like rat's nest of wires all knotted up all around the place. And there's scorch marks, and it doesn't look like it is in working order. It looks like it's been wrecked, but you don't really know how or why.
Did the twins get up here and do this somehow? Because this is what it looked like at their house this morning. Just everything was in a bundle, and it's going to be a nightmare to untangle.
Yeah, as you're looking at the wires, just as you had to earlier, you kind of like, what a mess. Look at this. You can see that knots of these wires are actually going away from the stereo onto the ground and snaking around. So one of them seems to go back towards the bathrooms. One of them goes along the side and seems to head towards the front door, or in that direction. So there's actually way more wiring here than makes any sense.
I'm definitely going to trip over at least one of those.
Okay, fair.
And probably do a smooth move where I'm trying to catch myself. My backpack hits something and then knocks something over.
So you knock over a little bit of the decor. It clanks and clatters on the ground, and then a door nearby opens up, and there's a middle-aged woman there with kind of dark circles under her eyes, and she goes, "What? Who are you? What's going on?" And then Sharif from the bar says, "Oh, wait a minute, that's Mo, and I think they're here to they're asking questions about, what happened." And then she says, the woman at the door says, "Oh, the neighborhood behind us told us that somebody would be coming by. You guys are like detectives or something?"
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I figured that they would hire some private firm to look into it. Yeah. Hi, my name's Jackie Williams. I was Jackie Jackson, but the co-owner here of the two Jacks. I think I'm going to have to change this name. Anyway, how can I help you?
Oh, man. Sorry about the mess. Sharif said there was like a big spider in the bathroom.
Oh,
do you
really?
know anything about that?
No. Although, did you tell me about that? I don't know. I've just been so busy with all this paperwork that's been generated by Tony's death. I really have had very little time to do anything other than I had to take care of the funeral, and now I'm having to figure out what is going on here. I think I might sell the place. But if you need to look in the bathrooms, they're right there. And she points down the hall, and you can see there's actually a bunch of wires all along the ground snaking into the bathroom as well. And she says, yeah, well, I guess, what do you want to know? You want to know I'll tell you the same thing I told the police, which is the night he died, Tony was here. He was working late on the stereo system. He was trying to adjust the bass because he wanted it to be a good dance vibe, right? But without getting another complaint from the neighborhood. There was a concerned citizens group got formed in the community behind us. And that woman, Kay, collected signatures, or said she was going to. And so she made a complaint with the organization or with their like homeowners association. And then I got a summons from the local police saying that there'd been a number of sound complaints. So Tony was trying to reach a compromise the night he died. I think something weird is going on because I heard what happened to Manny Navarro, and there's just no way that these two people that are like totally not related just had this weird drop dead thing with the screaming face and the heart and like what? But the police don't think it's a big deal. And now I've got you people here. Maybe you're going to get to the bottom of this, but I think it should be an official city investigation.
First of all, ma'am, I am so sorry for your loss. Was he sick at all before? Was this that sudden?
Yeah, it was sudden. I mean, yeah, he was healthy. I mean, we're both in our 40s. We've been together for maybe 20 years. Although, anyway, everybody knows it's an open secret. We're not actually together. We're still married, but we're not actually together. So I can't guarantee that I know he didn't get up to some, I don't know, that his health wasn't changing, but it was fine before, right? Oh, she says, and she goes, turns around and walks into the office, and he goes, I got to hear this. And she's got like a boombox that she's apparently like brought in. And she's like, ever since the stereo busted, it's the only way I can listen to music, but this thing isn't working. And she's slapping it, and it's like very distorted, but you hear a song that if you know pop jazz, you'd recognize as Two Jacks for a Queen. And this was our song. That's me singing. It's where we got the name for the bar, actually. It's not because of our names. It's because of the song. And also, I won the game in a game of blackjack. Or I won the bar in a game of blackjack. So, 2 jacks it is. Or was. Anyway, anything else I can help you with? Agents, officers, whatever you are.
No, we are very sorry for your loss, Jackie. I know how difficult it can be to lose a husband, even if you weren't together. We're just gonna kind of confer, I think, a little bit. If you remember anything else, please let us know. We will get to the bottom of this. No one should have to live with that uncertainty and that not knowing what happened. I know how difficult that can be.
Right. She says, well, all right. Well, thanks. Feel free to look around. And she glances over. She goes, DJ booth, bar, dance floor, tables, bathrooms, community billboard. Oh, we need to update this. And she walks over and she just writes canceled on a flyer that says, that's like the Two Jacks Tavern DJ night or whatever. There's a few other flyers there. And she says, see, and she points at one of the other flyers up there. See, this is that concerned citizens nonsense. She tears it down and throws it on the ground. And she goes back into her office. What would you the one that she threw on the ground?
Yeah.
So it is a sign-up sheet for Concerned Citizens of Caddy Corner, a neighborhood betterment association, it says. And Kay Renfield is the first name on the list. There's 2 or 3 other names written on the list, but they've all been crossed off. Now, none of the names here are victims on that list, though. They're just her name, a couple other names that have been crossed off. And that's it. Doesn't look like there's a lot of uptake. There's a phone number.
I'll call the phone number.
Okay. And incidentally, next to it, there's also a 10% discount for Laundricade, which is the
Sweet.
yeah, it's like one of those little pull
Definitely-
tab things off the bottom.
Yup. Pulling off a few of them.
So, all right. So you call the number, and it rings twice, 3 times, and then it answers, and it sounds like it's one of those machines, like one of the old-fashioned click, and then you hear like a tape start playing, and it says, "Hello, you have reached the concerned citizens of Caddy Corner, a neighborhood betterment association. Kay Renfield, president. We wish that our only wish is that people keep their noise to a minimum between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. Some of us are trying to sleep. Thank you. If you would like to join our organization, please leave your name and number after the beep." And then it beeps.
I hang up.
Okay.
But like an awkward pause, so that there's definitely going to be a message.
So all they hear is breathing for a minute.
Fumbling with my phone.
Like, oh, yeah.
Well, so it's basically a snitch line. So
Well, and it's,
Is noise complaints the only thing that's listed, or do they have other sorts of mission? We want to make sure that this is clean, or is it just noise complaints?
It seems to be very specifically aimed at noise complaints, specifically between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. because some of us are trying to sleep.
well, yeah, it is definitely interesting, Sai and Moira. I mean, my stereo cut out this morning when I was listening to music, and now we have Jackie's boombox wasn't playing. I mean, someone really doesn't like music around here.
But aren't the so it's the music that's cutting out, but there's the like the TV ads and everything are playing just fine.
Mm-hmm.
And they were really loud and rumbly, kind of like the stereo in our car, how it was just like really bassy.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised it had like the shocks on it too.
You're surprised it did or didn't?
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, that's what those switches are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was waiting for somebody to throw one and be like, well, yeah, it goes up on 2 wheels and then goes the other way, and it's
that's
hopping. Yeah.
We're just reserving that for when we've solved the mystery and we're on our way back in triumph to the agency.
That's right.
We don't want to stand out.
Right. This is how the agency says you're going to blend in this gated community. So,
if we get involved in a street race, we'll be golden.
yes. So, all right. So you've got just some like things that have come to your attention. There's a creature in the bathroom that the guy described as a spider. There's wires running everywhere. The other death was at the Laundricade, which is right down the street. The third death was in the woods not far from here. You have that location as well, should you wish to go check it out. And now you also have the name of a woman who's been complaining about the noise.
Well, Sai, why don't you go check out that spider in the bathroom?
Yeah, I'm on it. I'll trip
that-
over another wire on the way, and that'll pull something with it down.
Yeah, I think so. I think that you pull something and then one of the TVs cuts out. Like, what?
Yeah.
And Sharif walks over and goes, "This again? These things keep cutting out." Slams it.
That's my bad. My bad.
What?
Me.
Oh, and then he starts trying to follow the wire around, and he's just like wandering around the whole place as if this wire just runs everywhere. As you approach the bathroom, you open it up, and there's a single stall. It's and there's some old school bathroom graffiti. This place kind of is like a semi upscale bar that's trying to capture a like dive bar vibe, but with some success. So there is you're in here. There's a stall. Stall door is closed on your right. On your left, there's a single sink with a mirror, and there's a radiator against the far wall.
Can I see under the door?
Under the to the stall.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, actually. So hold on, let me check something. I just realized I should make sure this is important, so I'm going to take a moment to do this.
I'm gonna take off one of my shoes in case it is a spider.
Well, I was just about to check our lines and veils. I just was like, wait a minute.
Oh.
Nobody has insect or spider. Yes. Okay, good. Because as you look under, your face is about a foot away from something that's about the size of a dinner plate.
Blah.
But it's black. It's got way too many limbs. It looks, and it starts going, and it starts running. It runs around behind the toilet. But you realize as you're looking at it, it looked like it was made of wires.
Ooh. Okay.
Yes.
Huh. All right. We've got a cable spider.
Oh no.
Yes.
Ooh.
And it has, as you look, and then you kind of like open the door, look, and you don't see it in here now. And then you hear Sharif go, "What the?" and start yelling out in the bar area.
It's coming. It's coming. You.
I think
Get a
Tilda-
shoe. Get a shoe.
I think
I got
Tilda's
my
gonna
stuff.
go and commandeer the boombox from
Mhm.
Jackie and
Yep.
see if we can like set it up as a trap to try to attract the spider.
Okay. So you bring this out, set it in the middle of the dance floor, and turn it up, and it's still cutting in and out. And then you like pull back. Meanwhile, Sharif is like behind the bar, going like, "What was that? The largest bug I've ever seen just ran across my bar. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to disinfect it. I'm gonna have to get bleach. Oh my god, it's disgusting." And he, he's got like a rolled up magazine in his hand. Right? The music is playing. It's cutting in and out. The TVs are blaring. Let's see. And then let me see if anything else happens. I don't have any chaos yet because y'all have not made any dice rolls. So what happens is that the music cuts out entirely. Then the TV cuts out entirely. There's no sound at all. You can't hear yourself breathe. You can't hear your own footsteps. And it's, it's kind of dark in this bar and on the dance floor. The dance lights, aren't on. And you hear a skittering sound on the ground. And you see something moving very quickly towards the boombox. And then the sounds come back on. The boombox is tipped over and you see this ball size, like softball or maybe a little bigger volleyball size wire. It looks like a knot of wires in the shape of a spider creature skittering away towards the front door area. So it doesn't look like any of you can get to this thing, let's say, by normal human means. Is there anything you'd like to try to do by anomalous means, or would you like to let this thing get out the door?
We definitely shouldn't let it get out the door.
No, I'll throw my shoe at the door. It won't do anything, but I'm gonna throw the shoe.
Okay. There is a shoe on the ground near the door. What else would anyone like to do?
I would like to use one of my anomaly abilities.
Okay, excellent.
Nap time. I want to try and make it go to sleep.
Yes. Okay.
Nice.
This is a dream ability. So you are going to, and so it says you blow a pinch of sand towards the target. So I'm going to just assume you have pocket sand because.
Well, it's stardust, and I just kind of
Right.
have a little bit of it on me all the time.
All right. You pat Tinkerbell and you get a handful and poof, All right, so you are going to roll subtlety. Now, for those watching at home, triangle agency, what happens? You only roll dice under two circumstances. One is to use an anomaly power, and the other is to call on the agency to alter reality retroactively. And then you explain what the causal path that actually happened to lead up to the present you desire if you succeed. When you roll 6 d4 dice. The only thing that matters is getting 1 or more 3s. First, before you roll, this is rolling with subtlety. Do you have any quality assurances in subtlety?
I do. I have 3.
Okay, good. So when you have some, you get to roll normally, and then you can choose afterwards if you want to spend any to change your roll. If you don't have any, you're rolling with burnout, and that means your first success doesn't count. So go ahead and roll those d4s and tell me how many of them come up 3.
Ooh, I have 3 3s.
Oh,
Ding, 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 ding,
nice.
ding, ding.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Nice.
That is called a triscendence. So there's a special case in triangle agency. When you roll 3 3s, you get what is known as a triscendence. And when you roll exactly 3 3s, before any adjustments are made with quality assurances, the roll is a success. It is the only way to have a roll happen, well, unless you roll 6 3s, where no chaos is created. When you roll things other than 3, most of the time, I get chaos points for each one that isn't a 3. I then can use those to make my own moves later, but you have robbed me of that. But when you roll the triscendence, not only do you generate no chaos, but you get to choose an additional effect. Effect 1 is, do you know the effects?
Yes, I do. I can
Okay.
either add an additional target, or I can change the duration from a couple of minutes to 1 hour.
Yes.
So I'm going to make the spider thing, or I'm going to try to make the spider thing go to sleep for more than an hour. So I blow the pinch of stardust, and this glittery light kind of snakes around the room and just falls over the cable creature like a nice little blanket, and its arms kind of curl around, and it just nods off into a sweet sleep.
Oh, how sweet. So, congratulations. You have altered reality such that this strange little wire spider thing sags to the ground and is entirely inert.
I'm going to go, I'm going to just kind of sit next to it, and since it's still, I would like to just kind of look at it and maybe poke it gently.
Okay. You poke it gently only to find that it feels like just wires. It doesn't like seem to be anything more than that. Let's see if there's anything else to say of it. In fact, what you're seeing though is that the wires don't go anywhere. They all just kind of like loop back into this central knot of what is serving, like if it were a spider, its body, so to speak. Otherwise, it doesn't seem to have any other mechanism or material involved. You're not sure how this thing was animated or moving around.
Is that something that Tilda would be able to find out if she used her negatives ability to inspect something that was? As I can see the lost history of the place, so I could see the history of how this was animated.
So 2 things that you can do. One is you have to be looking at, so for negatives, you look at a place, not a thing. And you are looking at something that once was, and on successes, you see a lost history, which would be not what happened there, but what happened without anyone seeing, or what happened that people didn't know. You won't be able to see things that are already known. It's like a way of finding out. You only can use it to find out something that nobody knew, or nobody saw, or nobody witnessed, or that was forgotten, or that was lost. So if you can tell me a story about how you do that with this thing, given the fact that it's now in a place it hasn't been before. It used to be in the bathroom. Or you could go into the bathroom and use it.
Why? Because she would want to like see if she could see how it became.
Okay.
Um,
I think
if
that we
it-
can work something out.
if that had anything to do with did it come to life at the same time that Steve Jackson died?
Steve Jackson. Wasn't Steve Jackson the designer of GURPS and Car Wars,
was
the famous designer?
Tito Jackson.
No, it was Tony Jackson.
Tony
yes.
Jackson. Yep.
I know.
Tony Jackson.
I know what you're
I
doing.
don't even have it written down too in front of me, so you know.
Totally fine. Is it reception or barista? I thought it was barista that's supposed to get everybody's name wrong. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So all right, go ahead and roll your D6s and let's see what happens.
And this uses attentive. I have 2 3s.
Do you have quality assurances
I
in attentive?
So I could use one of my quality assurances to turn that into 3 3s.
Yep. So you don't get the transcendence like special abilities, but you do generate 0 stress or 0 chaos. I mean, sorry, and which is again denying me fun. So you guys hate fun. I get it. It's also I'm also going to report that you are doing exactly the opposite in your dice rolling to your other shift. So that's something we'll have to have a separate team investigate.
Just wait till I start rolling. It'll go south.
It is. So we shall see. So yeah, so what you do is you look at this thing and what does it look like when you use your anomaly?
Oh, sorry. She kind of like hunkers down kind of in front of it and closes her eyes, and you almost see her kind of like fade into the background. There was that Star Trek Next Generation episode where the guy kind of like went in and out of existence kind of, and it looked like lines going across that I can't remember what his name was, but it kind of looks like that. I think he was trying to help Wesley learn how to anyway.
Yeah.
I remember this, but okay, so you start phasing in and out, classic absence behavior here. And you are stepping into the past and you're holding on to this spider wire thing as like an anchor. And it drags you back to a time in the past when this thing was crawling around in the bathroom. And it's almost like you're watching something and you've got it on like speed rewind. It's like you're watching it zoom further into the past, and then you start to see something that nobody's seen because you and Sharif have seen this thing in the bathroom, or at least Sai and Sharif have. What you see is the wires kind of they no longer are a spider. They're just wires, and they're getting pulled. You're watching it in reverse, pulled back out and snaking back over towards the stereo, which is, as you see, bumping really loudly. And you see a man standing there dancing. And he's alone in the club, and then he gets back down with headphones on and he adjusts something, and then he listens to it again. And he walks out of the dance floor and listens, right? And you see that the phone is ringing, and he didn't know this call was happening because he couldn't hear. And you can see on the phone that he is getting a call from a number that you people just called, which is the number for the concerned citizens of Catty Corner. But he doesn't hear it. And the number, it stops ringing. And that's when the wires start snaking out of the stereo. That was the lost information that you missed, that these creatures were born around the time that the organization wanted to make a noise complaint.
And I think when Matilda kind of phases back into existence, she's going to look at Sai and Moira and say, we need to go talk to Kathy Renfield.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
what do we do with this thing?
What would you like to do with it?
Did they give us anything to put this in?
So I will remind you, as agents of the Triangle Agency, you are outfitted with a very important piece of equipment. Each of you is assigned a normal briefcase. And it is exactly what it says. It is the most normal looking briefcase they could divine, which makes you immediately, you're like, oh, so it looks like something that an extra would be carrying in Mad Men. Nobody carries things like this anymore, but it is a normal briefcase. You know that this is actually an anomaly containment device, and it is a safe place to put minor anomalies, and if you can either coax or force them in, even one major anomaly. So should you encounter the heart of this anomaly, you might be able to get them into this case, and that would be successfully completing your mission of containment.
Quick question. Is the briefcase considered an interdimensional space?
Well, let's put it this way. Larger things than the briefcase seem to be able to fit in it.
Would time work the same way in it? Will the spider stay asleep longer or not?
Good question. You do know that putting it in there will render it inert.
Okay.
That's like, once they go in, it's safe. They can't get out. It's not like the next time you open it, it's going to jump out. It's really more of like a portal to a place that you have heard of. And I believe Sai got to see with their mission. They had a little side mission the other day. And there's a place beneath the Triangle Agency known as the Vault, where anomalies are stored. So yeah. Oh yeah. Matilda was there too.
Does Matilda's ring still have the extra writing on it?
Has it been near fire recently?
No.
No, it looks like a perfectly normal ring. I don't know what you're talking about.
Perfect. Oh, but before we leave the bar, Tilda's like, oh shit, I should have thought of this before. Did Sharif Morris see her phase in and out of existence? Because probably shouldn't have been doing that out in the open.
So you look over and his eyes are as big as saucers. He's like, whoa. Okay, what is going on? What is that thing? What did you just do? Where did you go? Who are you people? And your training suddenly is in the back of your mind saying, loose end.
Yeah.
Loose end. You will get demerits at the end of your mission should you leave loose ends. Now, of course, how you handle those loose ends is up to you. You might wish to think in terms of what your competency is, because generally speaking, that will tell you different things about how you are expected to behave in certain situations.
Oh, because Matilda.
Or you can just be creative. Up to you.
We could call on the agency to have something happen outside the bar that he has to run and go check on a fire in the kitchen, so he doesn't see what happened.
Yeah, you can retcon in that way. All you need to do is tell a little story that's at least in principle plausible about what would have been what could have happened to prevent the loose end. And so if you want to say something like the fire alarm is tripped in the kitchen and he's like, oh, again, and he goes in. And so what the retcon would just be, there's a bad wire in the fire alarm. So it just goes off occasionally and he has to go reset it.
And I think since it was Tilda's mistake for using her powers in the open, she would call on the agency and try to do that so that we don't leave any loose ends.
You get to do that. So go ahead and roll your D6s, or D4s, I mean, and tell me how many successes you get.
4.
Wow. Okay. That is very effective. You did generate 2 chaos, and I just want you to know that we do take chaos very seriously here. That's 1, and that's 2. I will be cashing these in later.
We needed to give you a little fun too. So
yeah,
that's fair. So
we can't be the only ones doing it.
You remember what happened the first time, but you called on the agency. And now you remember what really happened, which is he walks out of the kitchen and says, sorry about that. That thing's been going off just all the time. I'm telling you, we need to get a new one, but you know, we've been distracted, obviously. Anyway, did you find everything you needed?
Oh, yes, we did. Thank you so much, Sharif. You've been very helpful.
Sure, no problem. We'll be here. Peace.
And Sharif, if you ever come in to Foam Home, the little coffee shop down the street, just say that Mo says you get whatever drink you want that day.
Oh, nice.
If I'm not there. You're very welcome.
Oh. Awesome. All right. So he's like, yeah, I'll go after work. All right. So now you, well, where would you like to go next? You've got a laundrycade right down the street. And then just past that is the gated community, somewhere inside which is the proprietor, president, owner, and sole member, you suspect, of the Concerned Citizens group. The Concerned Citizens of Caddy Corner, a neighborhood betterment association.
Does Sai want to hit the laundrycade, or do we want to go find Kylo Ren?
I think it's a good idea to get all of as much information as we can before we go and confront the big bad. So Tilda would definitely vote for the laundromat.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So, yeah. All right. So you walk down the street or get in your car and drive like low riding style if you prefer. The Caddy Corner Laundrycade down the street is painted a particularly garish color shade of teal. It's got laundry machines in the front and there's an arcade in the back, right? Thus the name Laundrycade. Now, there's a little memorial up to it says one of our best customers. It's got a little picture of Manny Navarro. And as you walk in, you see there is a sign that says, smile, you're under surveillance. And there's a camera there with a little red light flickering on it. Do you think any of you know Morse code?
Probably not.
Tilda might. I mean, she was a linguistics professor, so it's not outside the realm of, plausibility that she would know, at least be familiar with Morse code.
So you walk in, there's this camera up there, and they got the little sign like, hey, you're under surveillance. And you look up, and there's a camera, and the red light is blinking. But you notice it's not blinking regularly, but it also doesn't seem random. It's like bink, 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 bink. And you're immediately like, that looks like, is that Morse code? And maybe you do, maybe you know it, or maybe you can look it up. But you translate it, and it says ... dash ... Oh, you need me to translate it? Sorry. It says one word: silence.
That's not at all ominous.
Yeah, nope.
So
can I?
All right. Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
I
go
just
ahead.
have a quick question. Can I be looking for cards, like on the ground and things like that,
or more community sign-up sheets?
Yeah, so there's a bulletin board here too, or it's really more of a place for like there's advertisements. It doesn't really look very community oriented. There is a tear sheet that says that's a discount at the electrical store down the road. It says having trouble with your stereo or smartphone, we've got headphones, repair kits, and more in stock. There's other little individual notes, mostly people saying nice things about Manny. But one of them in a carefully lettered calligraphic pen like hand, says, and it's been like thumbtacked on, please keep your noise to a minimum in all caps between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. Some of us are trying to sleep. Thank you. And yes, it is signed Concerned Citizens of Caddy Corner.
She needs a lot of sleep. Like, that's a long time.
Yeah. Well, that is 9 hours. Yeah, it's a bit. So the machines in the laundromat all look a little different. You can tell that They look like they've been rebuilt many times out of like extra parts. Like one's got like it's a gray machine with a yellow door, and one is like there's duct tape holding it together. Some of them have yellow service out of service signs. There's one or two locals doing laundry. Everybody looks a little uncomfortable though, probably because two of their community members have died. There's a front counter with a woman behind it, and there's a bunch of little objects on it, including a little camera, like a little TV that has the security feed of the camera that you were just looking at. But it buzzes and goes great, like it goes into static every so often, and you realize it's the same pattern as the red light blinking. But behind there, not paying any attention to that, is a woman. She is looking like she's a kind of a middle-aged woman with gray, black, salt and pepper hair, and she's kind of tinkering with a little circuit board. Probably one of the pieces of the one of this partially disassembled laundry machines nearby. She looks up and she says, "Oh, hi, welcome to the laundrycade. I'm Mia. Can I help you with anything?"
Sorry.
I mean, you're not carrying any laundry, so I assume you're here for some other reason. I was told to expect inquiries.
That would be us, yeah.
Okay.
What's your name?
Mia Riley. I
Mia
took over the
Riley.
laundrycade from my mom a few years ago. I think it's mostly because I like working on these old machines.
How long have you been working on these machines for like a lot lately?
Something's been going crazy with these things. Every night a new one breaks, I think. It seems like it's always at night. And honestly, it's freaking me out a little bit, right? I've got this, I mean, you know, I mean, sorry, this is a bit of a mess here. A lot of this stuff isn't actually for repairing. I'm setting it aside for Billy. But I haven't seen her in a while, so I don't know. Maybe she's not coming back. But I know people were angry about her. What?
Who's Betty? What? Who is she?
Her name's Billy. She's like a local metal worker. She does sculpture. She used to do sculpture at the little park on the corner, but somebody was complaining about the noise of like her power tools. So I think she took her tools and whatever she was working on like into the woods, but I haven't seen her in a while. Now, the rest of you remember there was somebody else reported dead.
Oh, yeah.
With metalworking tools in the woods
Yep.
a month ago, but the authorities don't know about her. So nobody knows that she's connected. She's like, yeah, she's just a local artist that I set some of this weird stuff aside for. But everything's been on the fritz around here lately. Even the night that Manny died, our cameras stopped working. That was a weird night, she says. The cameras, Manny walked in, singing loudly to himself as usual with his headphones on. Went back into the arcade like he always used to, because he plays games most nights. Especially that one pin drop is his favorite, or was. Gosh.
Ooh, pin drop. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the fourth version of that. They really upped the graphics. It's very good.
Yeah, I don't play video games. I just fix them. I don't play them.
Have you seen any spiders lately?
I mean, I will say, okay, so this is going to sound strange. So after he died, I went back and looked at the footage because I was worried, like, did one of the machines like short out and electrocute him? Like, what happened? Ends up that the film just goes buzz for about 20 minutes before they said he died. And I think, here, let me show you. And then she turns and she fishes out a VHS tape. She puts it into This is like one of those single unit CRT screen TVs with the VHS at the bottom. And she currently has it set up for the closed circuit camera. She puts it in and she hits play and she rewinds and fast forwards a little bit. She goes, here, watch. So this guy walks in. There's no sound on this, right? It's just video. And he's singing and he does one of these, and then he walks into the back, and then off in the corner, you see a shadow, and it looks, and she pauses it real quick. So you see, look, and it just looks like kind of a smear in the corner. But she says, let me rewind it again. And she hits play. And as you're staring in that corner, it looks kind of like a humanoid shape made of wires walking back into the arcade where Manny was. But then it cuts out. That's when the video goes. So, yeah.
I can't do it in front of her.
Well, I think Matilda will go up and say, Mia, I am going to have to commandeer that videotape for our investigation, and she'll take it and put it into her bag.
Okay, she
because
says, okay.
It's going to be very important, and it will help us get some
Okay.
justice for Manny.
Well, if that's going to help, that would be great. I don't know what that was, but here you go. If you want to look around, you can. The arcade's back there.
I'll go back to the arcade.
Yeah, I want to go back to the arcade. One, just to see what games they have, because I'm always looking for a new game. And I want to see if there are any cord creatures back there too.
So you walk back there, and it's a kind of a dark room with like 6 cabinets, video games. And there's a person standing there. They're wearing a hoodie, and they have short hair, and they turn and they go, hey,
so
what's your deal?
What's your plan?
I'm trying to beat Manny's score on pin drop. I've never been able to. He's always had the high score. And so he's just kind of, or they actually are kind of messing with this thing. See? Thing's on the fritz anyway. And then they turn and they go, he dropped dead right here, they say. Right where I'm standing.
Next to pin drop?
Right in front of it. I think they were playing it.
Drop dead right next to pin drop?
He did. Yeah, that's what they say. But I haven't gotten close to his score. Actually, this person says, they're looking at the screen. They go, actually, that's weird. Look at the high scores. I don't remember Manny putting that in. And I don't know how to share this. I guess I can do it. I don't think there's a way for me to share it directly with you. There's a high scoreboard. There is, but not that the feed, the stream would see. And there's a bunch of random numbers, and they are not in order. So I will share this in our little private channel, so that for next, I won't share it right now. I'll share it after our stream, because our adventure is going to take 2 episodes of our stream. And I'll let you all chew on that for a little while and see if you can't come up with it, because you'll realize very quickly that there's something going on here. And this is, you suspect, related to the outsized commendation reward that was mentioned at the beginning, which is that the anomaly is communicating electronically somehow. And if you can figure it out, you get 10 commendations. So we will, next episode that you are investigating this, I'll put this up on the screen, even if I have to print it out and hold it up to my little square. I'm sure we'll be able to come up with something a little higher tech than that, but it will happen.
Low tech works.
Yeah, especially in this environment.
Videotape.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It'll go perfectly with your 70s cutlass. All right, and But yeah, so it's clearly something strange is going on because it looks like there's something being spelled out in the names. Actually, it doesn't look like those are names or people's initials at all. Let's see, anything else? One last thing here. So there's 2 pinball machines, there's a claw machine, and there's 6 cabinets of obscure video games. Pin Drop, by the way, is a game that you accumulate power in a Pac-Man style maze chase, and then you use it to fight computer opponents in breakdance inspired fight scenes. Yeah. So the game is playable. But again, there's something strange going on with the top scores. And as you look at them, you realize that if you read all of the initials on the top, the scoreboard list, they spell something out. Can you guess what it is?
Silence.
Some of us are trying to sleep. And at that point, the person standing next to you, and you look over and you realize they've got like a work shirt on, like they work at a local garage, and it says Sims on their name. All of a sudden they look down and they're like, what the? And you see a black wire has snaked out from underneath the cabinet, wrapped around this person's ankle, and they fall onto the ground, and then they are pulled behind the machine. And let's go ahead and stop there for the night.
Of course.
Oh no.
I got it.
Yeah.
So,
like, grabbing his hoodie.
So long story short, there seems to be something in the wires that is responding to noise complaints. Not entirely sure. But you're getting, you're on the right track. You haven't accumulated too many demerits or loose ends just yet, but you might be dealing with a big one that just got pulled behind the machine. Let's find out next time on the Triangle Agency with the High XP Society. So I'd like to go around the horn one more time and have people remind us what your name is and where you can be found. Let's go ahead and start with Eleanor.
Oh, yep. My name is Eleanor. That's about it.
And that's it. Eleanor is, in real life, Eleanor is the absence and cannot be found on the internet.
Yes.
Okay, how about Lulu?
Eleanor may be smarter than the rest of us, but I'm Lulu, and you can find me on Blue Sky at Lulu in WA, Lulu in Washington. I'm not on the other platform any longer. I'm also on Instagram, but pretty much I post the same stuff everywhere. So pictures of dice and pictures
Everybody
of my
loves
cats
dice.
and my dogs,
And cats
which
and
of course I'm playing a character that loves cats, that takes care of cats, and neither of my cats will come up and be on stream with us.
Don't worry, we have, fortunately, Blue's cat was willing to.
2 of mine
participate.
were just
Mhm.
back and forth all night.
So what about you, Blue? Where can we find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky at Pajamazon. And I'm also on Discord with the same name. So
Awesome. And I am Dr. Gwen Marshall, DRGWEN Marshall, at Blue Sky, Discord, not the hell site anymore. And we together are the High XP Society. You can find us on Twitch, soon to be on YouTube, and Blue Sky as well. So
we are on YouTube. The first 2 episodes with Fractal are up.
Did they go up? All right. So
Yeah.
the other shift is now ready to be watched. I recommend it. I'm biased though. So anyway, we'll be here once again next Tuesday. And we'll go back to Fractal Shift for a little while, and then we'll come back to Quantum and see if you all can't get to the bottom of this problem. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you so much.
Bye.